How do we start it though? Just like that, hey? Hey, Daryl.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Daryl. Good to see you again. You're here. I don't know if anybody noticed or if you haven't watched our first episode yet, you can go back and see it. But when we were done
Yeah.
recording, Daryl had mentioned that it kind of looked like I might have looked like a kind of Disney character there with the way I had my discs set up. So in honor of that, I've come prepared with
There you
my
go.
R2D2 ears
That's
that I picked up.
that's almost perfect. Those discs,
And
they look like they're just sitting on the shelf right now.
well, I'm not going to wear this the whole episode. I just thought you might get a kick out of that.
Okay.
Now, I know I threw this on you. We didn't discuss this, so put on your
Yeah.
thinking cap here and shoot some
Yeah.
holes in my idea.
The bit of a pause there was me taking a second to try and think the pros and the cons.
And all you can think of is how wonderful the idea is, right?
Yeah, we'll end the episode there.
Yeah, no.
Or should I say, it could be partly my catchphrase? You know that I like your idea, but you're wrong.
Ouch.
I don't know. I don't necessarily love the idea. I'm not going to say I hate it. I'm just
Okay.
trying to think why I don't like it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Chain Out, the disc golf podcast for Canada. Nope, I'm not doing that one. I got lost.
I could feel you were like searching for words.
I'm like, I went way beyond the simple thing.
Yeah.
So we'll do it again. 5 seconds. It'll just be simpler. I think what it is I don't know what
Episode 3?
It's episode 3, but do I want to call it the Chain Out or Welcome to Chain Out podcast? Episode 3, I think.
Chain Out podcast.
Yeah, okay. Because that's how we've got it labeled, so.
Yeah.
I'm Jeremy, and with me as always is Daryl.
Hello, everybody. How's it going, Jeremy?
Going well, Daryl. How about you? How you feeling, buddy?
I don't know. Can you tell? My voice is. I'm not. I got that bit of a sexy Barry White voice going on, I think.
Oh, you say sexy Barry White. I was thinking maybe a little Phoebe Buffet smelly cat voice there. Podcasting energy that we've got is like a healing energy. That's what I'm going to say.
There you go. Yeah. Channeling my inner Phoebe Buffet.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Until then, Smelly Cat says, chain out.
Chain out.
There for it. But for me, I think what the difference is that if I have an errant shot at Nor'Wester, I'm going to hit a car. A car is pretty strong. My disc is going to bounce off it. If I have an errant shot at the hills, and
I know where you're going.
It's going to bounce off them, but it could do a lot more damage hitting a person. And I feel that those tight lines, I'd rather go onto a road and hit a car or hit a truck or something like that than hit an actual person. So that's what I'm going to use as my deciding factor of why I'd prefer to play Nor'Wester. Plus, Nor'Wester is going to have the longer distance, all the things that we talked about than the hills. But one of those things is I'd rather hit a car than hit a person.
That's a fair.
Hey everyone, welcome to Chain Out Podcast. I'm Jeremy, and with me as always is your favorite co-host, Daryl.
Favorite co-host?
Why, thank you, Daryl and Jeremy. I'm so happy to be on Chain Out Podcast with you and glad that you were able to invite me. I'm really excited to tell you a lot about I'm not the guest that you were expecting to have on the show tonight? How did you know?
That's the thing. So I had a huge mix, a whole bunch of different brands, but then I hold a Comet, and then I hold a Buzz, and then I hold a Wasp, or I hold whatever. Name your EMAC Truth or whatever.
Yeah.
They all feel a little bit differently in your head. It's not the same disc, even if it's virtually the same disc. If you hold an EMAC Truth and a Buzz SS or whatever you consider to be the same as that, it's not gonna in your head, it's not going to be the same disc. So
Yeah,
Right.
that's such an interesting way to look at it, Jeremy. I've never thought about that. I mean, I know I've spoken. Obviously, Tim said that at one point he had 7 Nate Sexton Firebirds in his bag, and they kind of explain it. Yeah, obviously, the more beat in the disc gets, the more understable it gets. So that's why they have that. But until Brendan just said it, then like not necessarily having the disc because it beats in, but just having it because it feels the same. You've got the same disc in your hand, you're throwing it, and it's that's kind of just has hit me there for a second. So it feels like I've just leveled up in my disc golf knowledge now. But that's the reason for having multiple discs of the same, because of the feel.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to get you to stop buying discs. I just want you to buy more of the exact same disc.
Yeah,
and if it's wrong, you just have to buy more of a different disc.
Oh, that would be the wrong button. Sorry. Hey everybody, we're back. Welcome to episode 18 of Around the Basket.
Wow,
Yeah.
18 already?
18 Around the Basket.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, Dylan's in the chat. Hi Dylan, how are you doing?
Dylan?
Yeah. Can you believe it? 18.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I think we're kind of settled in on what this Around the Basket is.
Yeah.
You were on episode 1, I believe.
I think so. I mean, it always takes time to, put something out there and be like, is this what we want of it? And then massage it into place. So
yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't feel like 18. It feels like this is like number 6 or something. 18.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I know. It goes, yeah. I mean, we're the, we always like to say we're the longest running weekly Canadian podcast on our Chain Out podcast.
Yeah.
We just interviewed Chris Underwood for episode 71.
And that was a great interview. He was so interesting. I was saying to Daryl, like, I really loved his answers. Like, he just seemed so genuine. He gave authentic answers, really great insight into like the caddy side of things, which I very highly identify with. Like, that was what a cool guest.
Yeah, absolutely. Brock wants to know why you didn't change. Did you miss the memo?
Maybe I did. This is my other no, I didn't change. I'm sorry.
Exactly. You have a lot of purple shirts.
I know a lot of purple. It's my calling card. Purple is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Chris was a great guest, like you said.
Yeah.
Our mission, if you want to call it, is to highlight all of Canadian disc golf.
Right.
And we're not just focused on the pros, the TDs, things like that. We'll interview disc golf course designers, disc golf store owners, caddies, anybody that's, we spoke to Brian Henniger, PDGA Canada, for, any level of Canadian disc golf, we're going to interview them.
It's a broad umbrella, and there's so many moving parts in the community, and why not touch all those bases as opposed to just trying to talk about plastic or players. There's so much.
Yeah.
So you guys do a great job of it.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Yeah. If you tuned in last week, we spoke to Thomas Germain because we kind of started to, like we said on the Chain Out podcast, we started to reach back out to the people that we've interviewed before, kind of check back in with them, see how their season's going, see how they progressed and what their 2025 season looks like as well. Right. Yeah. And Park Pro covered all the A tiers last year.
Yes.
They recently just put out the Gold Eagle coverage, which is why we kind of revisited with Thomas.
I love Park Pro.
Yeah.
The quality of the content that they put out there is unbelievable.
Exactly.
Shout out Park Pro.
You think about the amount, we've spoken about this before, the amount of traveling that they did.
Yeah.
To BC, to Nationals, 100%. To the Yukon for the larger than life. Like, they're all over the place. Last time we were talking to Thomas, we learned all about his win at the Gold Eagle. We also learned, have you ever heard of the Sacred Sage Gnome? It's a disc that's infused with sage.
Oh,
Alex Penny apparently gave it to him.
Oh, of course, Alex, the nicest guy in disc golf.
The nicest guy in disc golf. Oh. Yeah. And then a friend on his card found that he had one and went and got one as well. So they were both throwing the same Sacred Sage gnomes on certain holes on the Gold Eagle coverage. So if you want to go back and check that out.
I want to check that out. And also, I do want to just give an additional shout out to Alex. Alex, I played with him last year for a round in Lethbridge, and we had loosely known each other. And kind of, I bought some discs from him and stuff. And he really truly is the nicest guy in disc golf. I have nothing but respect and appreciation for that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned Alex. We're talking about him. We want to thank all our Patreon members.
Yep.
We're up to 20 members now.
Hey, right on.
The most recent member, Mr. Alex Penny.
Oh, there you go. What a tie-in.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know, right? It all works out on our podcast here.
I love it.
371 YouTube subscribers, like we said.
Yep.
The 350 subscriber giveaway is still going on. Go to our Instagram, check out all the free goodies that you can get. We've got a Prodigy bag.
Nice.
3 discs, a mini, a goat towel, birdie beads. When we put the birdie beads on the post,
yep.
Somebody commented, birdie beads, ? Now, is this not a thing that everybody knows about? Because ever since I've been involved in disc golf, I was given a set by Mike Carey.
Right.
Like, where do they come from? Obviously Brock and Dylan are going to know what birdie beads are.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they not a broader item in disc golf?
They maybe it's a local thing. I don't know, because when I started playing, I got to know like Tim Sherman, and he had birdie beads for a while.
Right.
And there were a couple other folks that had some birdie beads. So I'm with you. Is this not bigger? Is this not?
Maybe it's not. Maybe we'll ask our guest later to see if he knows what it is.
Right.
But want to thank all your Patreon subscribers. If you are a Patreon, if you're listening live, we encourage you to comment, because we'll bring you in from time to time. If you are watching it on the Saturday recap, look at all the fun that you could be having watching it live. If you have a question, I know you're watching it right now and you're thinking, would have loved to have asked Chantel that question.
Yes.
If you got on our Patreon, you could have asked it right now.
Could have done it.
Yeah. Well, let's not keep her waiting any longer.
No, let's talk.
We have a guest waiting to come on, and we respect her time.
Yes.
We're excited to have one of Canada's top FPOs, Chantel Budinsky, to join us. I thought Jeremy had more written there.
That's
I
apologize
for
What's
that.
there more to say? She's one of Canada's top FPOs.
There you go.
There's not much more to say.
There you go. Hey, Chantel, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, as we said at the top of the show here, we're kind of checking back in with some guests that we had on before. We spoke to you earlier last year. How was your season, and how have you been finding it on tour so far?
I love it. It was a long, cold off season, and I'm just happy to finally be back playing disc golf every day.
Yeah.
So you played the first 3 events, right? You went, like we spoke to Chris, drove down all the way from Windsor to Florida to play the Supreme Flight Open. That's where your tour started?
Yeah, so we actually flew to Florida, played that, flew back, and then left the next weekend and drove to Texas.
Okay. Well, Chris said he got a bit of motion sickness. He wasn't great on flying, so maybe that's why I just thought you drove.
Yeah, I made him come with me to Florida.
That's awesome. So we wanted to kind of get into a bit of a recap of your most recent tournament, the Open at Austin.
Yes.
We wanted to know how the tournament went for you. We know that on second card you got to play with another Canadian pro as well. But I'll let you start with how you think your first round went. How did you like playing Sprinkle Valley? Obviously, you played Sprinkle Valley before, right?
Yes, so I played it last year at USWDGC, and I actually really loved the course. I still love the course. I just felt like it was a super challenging but scoreable course if you just don't hit any trees, which is never going to happen when you play there.
Right.
But I really loved the course, and I was excited to play it again. There was some questionable changes this year, but I still did really enjoy playing the course. And I felt like the first day I played terrible, but then slowly I played better.
Yeah. What do you put that down to? I mean, it didn't. I mean, obviously, the first holes there are quite wooded. Was it just you were having an off day? Was there other aspects that maybe we didn't get to see?
I wouldn't even say it was an off day. I felt like I was throwing really well and putting well, but it was just like if you're this much off, you're going to have a terrible time. And I felt like my discs were just flipping up a little too much, would touch a tree and would shoot me just so far into the trees. You basically have to pitch out backwards. So it was just like a day where I was I wouldn't even say off, but I was off a little bit, and scrambling for par, it doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah. Probably not. You were off. It's one of those courses where you have to be, precision. It has to, yeah,
for sure.
And then
Yeah,
you
you
get those
either have
bad
to
kicks.
be off. Yeah, you have to be off by a lot or not at all.
Yeah.
When you're standing on tee pad 1 of that course of Sprinkle Valley, is it nerves? Is it excitement? Is it like just play clean? Like where's your mentality on T1?
It's pretty intimidating trying to hit the triple Mando right off the gap, and it's
Yeah.
a pretty hard hole to start off. But I think I was just really excited to play it again because I played it well the year before,
Right.
and I wanted to play it even better, which I didn't really happen that day, but it was still a fun time.
Did you have a favorite hole from Sprinkle Valley?
Probably 18. Just kidding.
We'll get to that in a minute.
I I think it's hole 5, even though I bogeyed it and parred it. I don't know why I really like that hole. It's just a shorter par 4. I feel like it's
Just the feeling of the
just
hole.
fun shots. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So on that first round, you said it didn't go to plan really. You shot a +10 on that first round, but then you certainly bounced back on day 2, jumping up 18 spots with a +2, a 997 rated round.
Woo, scorcher.
Yeah. Giving you a +12 overall, leaving you tied for 13. I did mention there that on the second round you got to play with Sophia. How was that?
That was awesome. We haven't got to play. We've only met one time at the Florida Open.
Okay.
And so we finally got to play with each other, which was really nice. We had a 50% Canadian card,
Yeah.
so it was a lot of fun.
How did that, how was, you mentioned there 50% on the card Canadian, like was there a little bit of like a bit of a morale boost for you on that card? We spoke to Chris about certain cards that maybe people that you like to play with, like was that kind of a nice little settling feeling for you?
I didn't really know what to expect because I've never played with her before. I knew she was like a super friendly person, but I didn't know what to expect. But we had a great card and we had so much fun that day.
Right, that's awesome. So okay, now we'll get to hole 18. So on hole 18 on day 1, not such a friendly hole, and there's been a lot of talk
No.
about this hole 18.
Yeah, there's
Some
people have been talking about
and
it.
I think it's very polarizing. I don't think anybody is really like it's an okay hole. I think either people hate it or they love it.
Yeah.
But you definitely showed hole 18 who's boss on day 2.
Yes.
Yes, thankfully.
Yeah. How did you? What are your feelings on the hole?
When we practiced it, I didn't understand why they did that to us because it was already
Right.
hard the year before without the island. So
Yeah.
it used to be just like the strip before the island was OB on right and left, which
Right.
was still pretty difficult. And so seeing that we had to make that little island, it was like, oh my gosh, there's going to be so many backups. People are just going to be throwing and throwing. And luckily, they made the rule where you throw 4 times and go to the drop zone.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like the first round, I was so nervous for the island that I messed up my like 50-foot upshot to like get to the
Oh,
perfect spot. And so, yeah, it just didn't go well. I ended up taking a 9
yeah.
that day,
Yeah.
which
But then,
honestly isn't the worst compared to some of the
right.
other scores.
There were
Yeah.
some double digits and some pretty big double digits. Like that whole kind of
Yeah,
created chaos.
Yeah. So, but
it
then
really did.
on round 2, you hit it perfectly.
I did, and it
One
was
of only 2 birdies.
yeah, it was actually a worse win too for the hole, but I'm not going to say I got lucky, but I got lucky because I just landed in the perfect spot, didn't hit anything,
Right.
and I was set up for like the hyzer shot to get to the island. I was like, I have to go for this. I'm not going to lay up and then proceed to throw OB. Like I have to go for it to. It just felt right, and somehow my upshot made it on the island.
Hey, you say it's luck, but you threw the disc.
Yep, that's right.
You
I
threw
did.
it.
That's why.
Yeah, it went where you threw it, so I don't call it luck.
You made the shot. You were making that shot.
Yep,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy I did. I was thrilled I didn't have to throw anymore.
So do you agree with how? I mean, obviously you say you don't know why they made it the island. Do you? I mean, you kind of sit right in that middle. You birdied it. You had a bad day, so it could have gone either way. You could have had two bad days and you hated the hole and you never wanted to see it again. But
Yeah,
what are your overall feelings? Do you think it should go back to the way it was? Was it too hard?
I think if they want an island, they need like a double drop zone or something,
Yeah.
just so people aren't throwing 4 times because it was too punishing. It was okay, so your whole round, you're just thinking of 18. Is this going to ruin everything? And I don't think
Right.
that disc golf should be that way.
Yeah.
And it was kind of upsetting to see how upset people were. Like Kristen Tatar, she shot an amazing round just for all that to be taken away. So
Yeah.
it's a little frustrating, and I understand people are like, "Oh, it's just this shot, do it correctly," and it's true. But when the whole field is having an issue with that shot, I think that shows that maybe something's wrong.
Maybe it's a little unbalanced. Yeah.
And I don't think
Yes.
the scoring average improved over the weekend. Like, I don't think this is just a case of it being like, oh, there was a bad wind, or like, I think that the hole showed what it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
fair.
Which is very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then on day three, you head over to Harvey Pennant. Now that's a bit more of an
Yes.
open style golf course. How do you think you played? And how did you think you played? And did you have a score in mind that you wanted to shoot over there?
I wouldn't. I feel like anything around par was good for me. I typically don't play as well on ball golf courses. I'm
Mm.
not sure why. It's like I just need a line of trees to show me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was I was playing pretty well, and I shot an even, which I was happy with. I mean, I made some mistakes and threw OB a couple times, but overall, I was pretty happy with day three.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you played even, pushing you a little bit further up that leaderboard. On day three, you're in four. You moved up 4 spots, tied for ninth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well within the cut line. And was that one of your goals in the tournament to at least get onto the final round?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. That's always something that we're striving
I
to
mean,
at least catch up at our tournaments.
Totally.
yeah, for sure. So then day four comes around, fourth round. You start out amazing birdie in the first 3 holes. How good did that feel?
Yeah, that felt really good. I knew you kind of want to get those early birdies because the middle part of the course is really challenging, and
Mm.
to just have those extra strokes gives you, I don't know, a little bit more room to maybe make a few mistakes.
Yeah.
So it felt really good to get those three.
You got to get them when they're hot. You gotta
Yeah,
score when you can. You got to create the buffer because you know what's coming.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, I don't, Kristen actually brought this up to us, and I don't know if it's a feature that's been available for a while, but when you're watching
Oh, yes.
PDGA live, you can actually click on the hole. So if you're following somebody's card, you click on the hole, and it'll actually break it down so that you see
Your scoring date. Yeah.
fairway, C1,
Yeah.
for exactly on the breakdowns.
Yeah.
Now, when I looked for you, um, which one was it? I forget which hole it was, but it looked like you made a huge 40-foot C2 putt to save your bogey.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I did. It's finally my first C2 putt of the
right.
whole week.
Yeah. Do you remember which hole that was on?
Yeah, that was 5, 6. It was hole 7 in the
Okay,
woods. It was just the shorter par three.
right.
There's something about hitting a C2 putt for bogey that takes this enormous weight off your
Yeah.
shoulders. Like, there's a difference between making a C2 putt for birdie, like C2 putt for birdie, you're like, excellent, great. But a C2 putt, like a deep C2 putt for bogey, you're like, that could have been so much worse.
Yep. And you're like, I'm running this, so I have to make it because I
That's
could
right.
miss the comeback, or
That's
that's a
right.
triple bogey.
Yeah, exactly. What else did I have? So that round went on and looked like it. Sorry. Then as the round went on, it looked like, according to the scorecard, that you might have had a few obstructed putts because it looked like 14 and 17. It looked like you had like a 25-foot putt and then a 21-foot putt.
No, they were just totally open. I just couldn't putt that day.
No.
I don't know what the day before, I was having trouble with my straddle putts. Wasn't sure. I just couldn't figure out my stroke. So I spent a little more time during warm up, and it felt better, not perfect, but um, I think it was I don't know what hole it was. It's the long par five in the Open. I missed almost a bullseye straddle for my birdie,
Oh.
and then after that, it kept getting worse. I kept getting
Right.
straddle putts. And then I started missing my normal putts. And yeah, the confidence just slowly, I was throwing the disc so well. I had lots of birdie looks and I was triple putting. So that was really weird.
Yeah, really
I don't
annoying.
usually triple putt.
Right.
Right.
We were just speaking to Chris earlier, and he was, as we all know, that putting is one of your better aspects of
Yes.
your game. When that happens, and we kind of got Chris's aspect point of view on it. When you're missing those putts, or if you're having, things are just not clicking for you, like, are you going back to Chris? Are you kind of punching him in the shoulder? Are you kind of like how does he help you out when you're in that sort of situation from your point of view?
Yeah, he's just my human boxing thing. I'm just kidding. No, I basically look back at him and I'm like, just like wondering what the heck happened. Sometimes we actually look if he's filming. We'll try to look and see if I'm doing something weird. But
Yeah.
I think I was just off. By the end of the round, maybe I was in my head because I'm missing all these putts and we have all these elevated baskets and sand bunkers behind. So it's just so mentally straining. But I never blame Chris when I miss a putt. It's usually like if he tells me to do a weird shot.
It was really cool talking to him and then hearing from you. Like you guys function as such a team, and like I like when you say like we look back at to see if I was doing anything funky. Like it really speaks to how you work collaboratively on your game, and I think that's really really cool.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd do without him.
Aw.
That's the right answer.
Sorry.
So on that final day, round 4, you got another +2, leaving you with +14 for the tournament, shooting a 962 rated, 23 points above your rating. How now you look back on it as a whole? Obviously, day 1 kind of stands out a bit, but the rest of the tournament kind of went pretty good for you.
Yes, I feel happy. Like I think I was tied for 15th at the end of everything.
Yeah.
I still am wondering about the putts, to be honest. I think I always focus on my putting all the time, and so when I'm missing, like all I want to do is go practice and figure out what the heck I just did because that can't happen. It can't happen. So
Right.
that's mostly what I'm thinking about. And if I just made those putts, I would have been what? I
Yeah.
don't know, top 10 definitely. So
So
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. How long I don't want to get in your head. How long does something like that sit with you? Like, are those putts you've had enough time to practice now? That's gone, that tournament's behind you. You're just concentrating on Jonesboro now?
Um, Sometimes it bugs me until the next tournament if I don't figure it out. Like right now, I actually hurt my back, so I can't
No.
really practice Jonesboro, and I haven't got to putt either. So once I, I'm hoping tomorrow I'll be okay and I
yeah.
can putt and practice a little bit. But they're still kind of lingering in my head, but I'm over it. I know that I'm a good putter and I'll figure it out.
So I've got to go way off script here, Daryl.
Okay,
Very far off script.
that's fine.
Okay. So, Chantel, my disc golf friends and I created our own disc golf fantasy pool where we drafted 6 MPOs and 4 FPOs, and we get points based on how those pros perform at each tournament throughout the year. So, first place gets 15 points, second place gets 14 points, so on and so forth. I'm happy to say that you were drafted by our friend Jordan, and he was a very good pick. We were everyone was kind of looking to scoop you up in the draft, but Jordan left Chantel on the bench for the last tournament, meaning all those points that she would have had that she did have in
Yeah,
our pool
right.
gone to waste. So I guess I don't want to put any extra pressure. I don't want you to be out there at Music City Open thinking about, boy, that Jordan guy left me on the bench. However, I just want to put a little bug in your ear. Just, I don't mind when Jordan leaves you on the bench because I am worried that you're going to score a lot of points But you're in a very elite category getting drafted as the FPOs in this absolutely meaningless fantasy draft. And I just thought I wanted to share that story with you and let you know that you've got a lot of fans rooting for you back here in Edmonton in our pool. And keep racking up those points, maybe on Jordan's bench for the rest of us.
Okay. I'll remember when I'm putting that.
Yeah.
That's what's on the line.
Yeah, that's right. As long as you know what's at stake, that's right.
We did have a question from the chat here. Brock wants to know how much opportunity for feedback on courses is there with the Pro Tour? I think this is going back to that Sprinkle Valley course, but in general, have you ever had to discuss anything with any of the officials?
We do, if we see them out and there's like a hole, like I remember last year at Worlds, at Ivy Hills, there was a hole where we were throwing over OB and it was really long, and whoever who was doing it, I think it was Nate Heinold. We were playing that hole and he was standing there and I was like, this doesn't seem right. And I think they ended up changing it. They moved it back like a little bit, but um, sometimes if we see them out there, we do give them, our critiques, but I don't know if
Right.
they always care.
Yeah.
Like I know they got a lot of slack for hole 18 and they didn't change it. I was just hoping that on the second round I'd wake up and they'd be like, okay, there's a new drop zone. But no, but I know that they are thinking about it now after hearing everybody's concerns about the hole. So hopefully something's done about that one. But me personally, I don't really speak to anybody about that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks like you have 3 events coming up. So you've got the Jonesboro Open, you've got Music City Open, and then Casey Wide Open. I'm gonna go off script a little bit from here because I have a question just in regards to like body health. Like it's a long season, it's a busy season, there's a lot of travel. Jeremy Colling has talked a lot about not playing at 100%, like playing intentionally at 70 and 80% to preserve his body for the whole season. Right. And I'm just curious, like, do you have any sort of mentality when it comes to like, do you dial back to play tournaments? Do you keep yourself at a high rate? How do you manage your energy levels and your health? I mean, you just said that you had like a little back thing going on, but how do you manage that throughout the whole balance of the year?
I never really thought about it like that. I just play my game and what happens, happens, I guess. I honestly, it feels like tournament days are my rest days because you're throwing one shot and then you walk and you wait, and it honestly feels like a rest day. So I usually don't even take Mondays off. I'm like actually after Waco, right after my round, we drove to Sprinkle Valley and I played a round, and then Monday I played 2 rounds. So it's probably not the best. I mean, it's early in the season, so I'm excited and I want to play, and I still feel like I'm shaking off the rust. So I know slowly throughout the year I will have more rest days, and my back is not even from disc golf. I just slept wrong and I'm old. So that sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier when you get older. I'll let you know that.
But Daryl, you look great for 83.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. You mentioned about practice rounds, and I never even thought that. Yeah, when you're playing a tournament, you act as a rest day because your workload is so much easier. I never even gave that a thought.
Yeah, Simon kind of mentioned that in his latest vlog. He said he can't wait for just tournament days because all you're thinking about is just the round.
Yeah,
like there's and I can totally say, and with the amount of content creation that you and Chris are doing, and on all the other things that you guys are working on, I can totally see where that happens.
Yeah. So if you're going to a tournament that just has one course, how many times are you practicing? Are you getting 2 rounds in at the same course prior to the tournament?
I would prefer 3 just because 1, if I know the course, then 2 is fine. But if I'm going in and I've never played, I want 1 round just to throw whatever, see where it lands, adjust. Second round, throw those shots that I think, and then if they're not perfect, then I will change my disc. And then the last day is, okay, I'm playing my tournament round, and we're gonna play from where I land and see how it goes, and see if I need to adjust anything. Yeah.
And then how does that change when you play a tournament with 2 courses? Like, are you splitting those?
Yeah.
Like when you would say you would play 2 rounds in one day, are you playing one at each? Or are you focused on
Yes.
Sprinkle Valley for? Yeah, you split it.
Yeah, we split it. So we played Sprinkle and Harvey in one day. So we only had uh, two practice rounds at each course because we only had it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Well, I got 3 in that Sprinkle because I wanted to make sure that I could play that one good. But yeah, as long as I feel like 2's the perfect amount, 3's like extra.
Right. Yeah.
So something I asked Chris during the channel podcast was I asked him, does he feel he knows your game as well as you do? And without much hesitation, he was like, yes. So I want to hear from you. Do you think he knows your game as well as you do?
He knows my game pretty well. I do think that we have different approach games. Like sometimes he'll say, "Oh, I think a sidearm will be better," but I
Yeah.
was thinking a backhand, and then
Right.
I'll do a sidearm, and then
Right.
it's wrong, and I'm like, "Oh, I shouldn't have listened to you." Just silly things like that. But honestly, like he knows my game pretty well. We play almost every day together, so
Sure.
he's pretty good.
What's the percentage of you thinking that you want to throw a backhand? He says sidearm. What's the percentage that you actually just say, no, I'm throwing the shot, it's a backhand? How much do you
Well,
actually listen
usually,
to him?
I feel like if I'm asking him, it's because I'm unsure.
Right.
So then if he tells me to do something, then I'm like, okay, well, that has to be it because I was unsure and he sounds pretty sure. So,
Right.
but sometimes it's just me not executing the shot.
Yeah, exactly.
I find with Kristen, like she, because just for Chantel, like I caddy for my girlfriend who plays FPO in Alberta here quite a bit. She, like I often will be like, here's my perspective on a shot, and she'll be like, no, like very, very directly and politely, of course,
Right.
is like, no, that is the wrong shot, and then does her own thing. But I like the way Kristen does it. She's just like so confident in being like, nope, that's not the right shot. This is the shot. When you know that he's got the wrong shot and you know what you're doing, how's your approach with him? Do you like, is it the same kind of like, no, I've got this, don't worry?
Sometimes I guess I would say yeah, it's basically like, oh, I think I'm just gonna do this. I feel
Right,
like this is like what I'm confident with.
right,
I never really fight with him about it, and he's pretty good too, knowing if he should tell me what he thinks,
right,
Right.
which most of the time he doesn't have to. And like we make such a strong game plan beforehand that
right,
it's mostly when I'm scrambling when I need his opinions,
right.
which I'm scrambling all the time, so it's pretty often.
So we have another question from the chat here, and this kind of, I'm sure you can talk a little bit more about this. Is your new Tour Series disc a Yeti stamp just because you're Canadian?
Oh, I got it right
There
here.
you
Oh,
go.
that is so cool.
Yeah, so I think we were picking from natural disasters, and I was like, well, I'm Canadian. Of course, I'm going to choose Blizzard. So it's
Yeah,
a Blizzard, and yeah, I think it's like a Yeti.
Thing.
Yeah, I think that's what
abominable.
it is.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
the abominable snowman, maybe? No, it's definitely a Yeti.
Yeah. So we spoke to Lane Mosolf, who's the one of the art directors over at Prodigy. He's also a co-owner of Cardinal Disc Golf, who sponsors the podcast. Did he design that stamp for you?
No, I think they have another designer. I always talk to him and he sends me the stuff. So I'm not sure if the one person designs it and he does something else to
Right.
it. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
it works. I wish I knew his name off the top of my head.
I think
Who
actually
does
now thinking about it, I do follow him on Instagram, and I just know him as Cobb. So
as sorry?
as Cobb, Kob.
KOB.
Oh yes, yes.
It's Cobb, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he did. He's got a lot of designs on there for all of the pros. Luke Humphreys has got a great looking
Right.
disc as well.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, last year was your theme of travel or flight, which is why you picked the hot air balloon. This stamp was natural disasters.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we get into opportunities to ask professional players kind of some questions, one thing that gets asked is like, what's one area of your game you'd like to see improve? But I don't want to ask that. I want to ask what area of your game this season has been the strongest and how have you been utilizing it?
I want to see my putting, but I just putt so bad the last day, so it's hard to say that confidently. But honestly, like I was still gaining strokes with my putting, so
Yeah,
my putting's always, I think, always going to be my strong point. It's,
yeah,
I don't know, I just feel very confident in the circle, and even my C2 putts, I expect to make a couple every
yeah,
tournament, so I'm going to say my putting.
yeah. That's great. Putting is such an art. One day I hope to make putts.
Yeah.
Just believe in yourself.
Yeah,
Do you have, well, when you say you don't want to ask pros about what area of the game to improve,
yeah.
as amateurs, is there any tips or techniques? Like what's the process of, how are you so good at putting? Is there a process that you
Mhm.
go through? Is there a
Mhm.
checklist that you go through in your mind? Or is it just you got to suck it up and go out and practice?
You got to practice. And um, I think it gets easier. You don't have to practice maybe as much once you find like a really good routine or like you know
Sure.
exactly how to feel when you're putting.
Yeah.
But I know when I'm off, I'll go out and I'll putt for an hour or two and it comes back. Like
Right.
you just got to figure out your stroke and you should be good.
Yeah.
It's
That's
As
I
long
don't
as your
think I'm
head's right.
I just don't think I'm that good to know when my putting is off.
well, yeah,
I can't, I'm not in tune with my putt enough that I know, okay, that was a late release, or
right,
well, I know it's late because it
right.
misses the basket, but I can't correct it. Like,
So Chris and I have this discussion
Oh,
all the time about like I'm like, if I'm missing a putt, something mechanically and logically must be wrong. And she's like, if I'm missing a putt, it's because I don't feel it.
right.
And so we have this like her and I have this total disconnect on why we miss things. And it's not like a bad thing. It's obviously
Yeah.
we're different golfers, different people. But it's like it does come to a point where like when I'm caddying for her, I'm like, well, you're doing this, and she's like, I don't feel it. And it's like
Yeah.
it comes
Is that how you feel as well? Like it's a feeling, or is it
yeah,
a mechanical thing that you can feel? Like,
I think I can um, pick which one it is usually. Like I know when
sure.
I'm missing because I'm doing something wrong, or if it's just in my head.
Right,
I
right.
usually know what's wrong with my putting.
right.
Yeah. See,
Off the tee though, no clue.
that's the pro answer.
That's
They just know the feeling, whether it's
yeah.
mechanical or if it's just a
Well,
feeling.
I don't know.
For me, I just suck.
I don't know about you two, but it's just like when you know you're gonna make a putt, the basket looks huge. The basket just looks like I'm not missing. There's no way I could miss this. That basket is 10 feet wide.
Yeah.
But then, there's moments where it's a 20-foot putt and you're like, is that a regulation basket? Like who put that in?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, do you have any more questions, Tim?
No, I don't. I
Don't
really
want to.
just wanted to bring up the draft thing because that was really important to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we appreciate your time, Chantel. Thank you for joining. We don't want to keep
Yes,
you any
thank you
longer.
so much.
It's at this point of the podcast we want to hand it over to you. Is there anything you'd like to shout out?
Yes, of course. I'm going to shout out Prodigy Disc for sponsoring me and giving me this beautiful Tour Series disc. I think
Yeah.
these come out April 3rd on their website, and I'm really excited because these are nice and stable and they fly so nice, even into a headwind. I'm very happy about that. And also,
The
of course, shout out to Disc Republic,
Yeah.
Drive
oh,
Bags, and the Goat Towel.
perfect. I do have them all here. So give me 1 second. And we'll get,
Cycle through
you went through them so fast.
them.
There you go.
She knows who's got her
There
back.
we go.
We got them all out there for you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Chantel. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll be checking the
Thank you so much
scorecards
for
this
having me.
weekend. Yeah, thank you. Welcome back anytime.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. We wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
There you go. Two great interviews in a
If
night.
I mean, did here's a question for you.
Okay.
Did Chantel just upseat Alex Penny as the nicest person in disc golf? Maybe, right?
Maybe, yeah.
honestly.
She's got a big shoe to fill.
Yeah,
Or
that's a big role.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a big role. Like
Yeah.
that's a big title, and Alex fills that role nicely. But man, Chantel's just so nice.
Yeah, and what a great couple together. Both so down to earth, open with their answers.
Yeah, I really, like I said to her, like I really have such an appreciation now for how much of a team they are. They're such a
Yeah.
team,
Right.
and that's so admirable that they just not attack, but it would go after this thing together and fully, and they obviously have such trust in each other. Like I mean, just two really cool people, really
Yeah.
cool people. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's great to get such an insight into their
yes,
game.
yeah,
You know, there's only so much, if you've got GGN, you can kind of follow along, but you're getting some coverage.
yeah,
If you're just watching scorecards, you can just see putting for birdie from
yeah,
18 feet.
yeah.
You're just watching. You don't really get a feel for how the event went.
Also, I've just got to quickly throw in there, like sometimes DGN gets a little flack for maybe having some, quality
Technical issues,
issues,
yeah.
tech issues, whatnot. But Kristen and I've had Disc Golf Network for I think 4 years,
Okay.
and it is one of our favorite things to do on a weekend. Make a pot of coffee, sit down and watch specifically the FPOs. We
Right.
love watching the FPOs, even if they just cut to Chantel making a big putt or a big drive or all the action like coming down the pipe there at the last tournament. I am a big advocate of it.
Yeah.
I love it, and I think, yeah,
You've never had any bad experiences with it?
I mean, there's definitely times where I'm like, oh my God, can this be more than a potato?
Right.
But I would say overwhelmingly positive experience. Like
Yeah.
we watched live when James Conrad hit the holy shot. We watched all of the worlds from the last few years. We watch FPO every weekend that it's available that
Right.
we're around, and it is just I absolutely love it. And of course, when you see like Sophia and Chantel and now Rebecca, like
Yeah.
when you see our Canadian representation playing the Disc Golf Pro Tour, it's so inspiring. And we talked to Chris. He mentioned the qualifiers, right?
Yeah.
We sit on our couch watching, going, man, why don't we go down there one day?
Yeah.
And try to qualify for Waco or something like that. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like, we love watching FPO specifically. We'll watch MPO as well, but
Yeah.
it's just so cool. So cool getting to talk to Chantel after watching her on DGN and getting to know Chris too. Like, just awesome. This is just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know me and Jeremy have said the same thing, that if we're going to watch coverage, we'd much rather watch FPO.
Yes. Yeah.
Not that it's anywhere near attainable for us, but they play the same sort of shots. They play similar lines. It's a lot more akin to our sort of game. When we watch MPOs play, it's like, okay, great, you just threw 550 feet. You threw, this forehand flex shot that is it's not in my game. It's just a different level, like we were saying before. But we can at least assimilate with the FPO.
Sure. I think one appreciation I have for the FPO field is physically and from a athletic perspective, there are so many different types of athletes. And you look at the prototype for an MPO, they're all just like tall, lanky kids,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But like, look at Owen. She is not a large person, and she rips the disc, and her putting is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that the field is so competitive and in so many different ways. I just think that is something very unique, very special, and it makes the sport not feel out of reach. It makes the sport feel right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Okay, I just want to quickly whiz through this because Jeremy wrote it, so he'll be mad if I don't say it. So not only did Chantel play this weekend, we also had Sophia playing as well. Rebecca Dunn also played. Sophia came down to Austin to play her second Pro Tour event. She didn't go to Waco. She played Supreme Flight Open and then flew back, I believe. She also finished tied for 15th with Chantel. It looks like she had to work at it to get it out there.
Yes.
She shot +9 on days 1 and 2 at Sprinkle Valley and put her in T23 after 2 rounds. Harvey Pinnock, day 3, she shot a +2, dropped down to T24, just above the cut line. Final round, she plays the best weekend, shooting -6.
That is crazy.
Yeah, jumping up 9 spots to tie for 15th.
Points.
Yeah.
That is great.
We talked about it before. Starting a tournament slow can be tough, but when you finish on a high note, it can help make the whole weekend that much more memorable. You
Sure
agree?
can. Yes.
Have you ever had moments like that where you kind of start slow, but you kind of get momentum through the weekend?
I would say I've done that in tournaments where I've improved every round.
Right.
I wouldn't say I've had too many individual rounds within a tournament where that happened. Whether it's like comfortability or familiarity with a course where it's just like I'm gonna get mine in the second round or third round, whatever. But yeah, I love finishing on a high note. Like finishing with a birdie feels or a par, or like finishing out strong feels really good. And I can see that being a big, hole 18 at Sprinkle Valley, we talked about. If that was in the middle of the course,
Exactly.
I bet you it gets a lot less hate. And not because it's any worse of a hole,
Right.
because it's not the finishing hole. No one wants to step off the course having just thrown a 13.
Right.
So, and I don't think that justifies the hole.
Fair.
I don't think that justifies the hole, but I bet you people would be just a little bit easier on it, or feel better about it if it was in the middle of the course.
Interesting, because what I thought you were going to say is if it was in the mid and have a look at it from this point of view.
Yes.
If it's in the middle of the round, and you take a 13,
all right, do you think your round's done?
I mean, if you take a 15 on a hole, and then you go and play the rest of the round, then you end up just going and sulking in your tent while your good friend goes to an Airbnb with somebody else and has a good time.
Right. Maybe. I mean, I feel like in my little competitive brain that when a hole like that happens, and I did have one, I had a triple bogey on a hole today. I feel like when that happens in the middle of a round, it lights a fire under me. It wakes me up.
Right.
It makes me like, oh, geez, this isn't easy. Like I can't just float through this like that. It's like whereas if it happens at the end of the round, it's like, well, there's no way to come back from that.
Yeah.
I can't rebound.
That's it. You throw the line under it. Yeah.
It's right. So I mean, that's how I feel about that.
I'm just wondering whether after you take a 13 on hole 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are worse holes. Like maybe their averages go up.
Yeah, maybe.
Because people are on that.
It's very possible. Yeah. And I think if you're an emotional disc golfer, that maybe that is the case. But I don't know. I'd rather it on 9 than 18. Would you rather it on 1? Start your round with a 13?
Oh no, that would be terrible. I don't think I could mentally get over that.
Couldn't even get to hole 2. You're like, nah.
No, I'm done.
This
What's
ain't
the point
me.
carrying
DNF.
Yeah, especially if you're checking scorecard and you see someone got an eagle or a birdie or a par, single bogey, and you think I'm already 6 shots behind. But then again, maybe
maybe not. Under you? Doesn't that mean doesn't that go like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to show myself that I can dig myself out of this hole.
Yeah, maybe.
It just depends on the kind of athlete you are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just go.
We went off on a huge side.
We did. We'll just jump back into the chat here a second here. Brendan, was 18 an almost guaranteed bogey average if people pitch up where they should? I think a lot of people were pitching up to where they should at the bottom of the stairs.
That's right. That's the play, was to pitch up to the bottom of the stairs. But the one of the problems with that hole was the size of the island.
Right.
The depth. Like if you overshoot that by a couple feet, you're OB. And then like Chantel said, it wasn't. You didn't get to you had to like, your drop zone wasn't friendly, or you didn't advance, something of that nature. If you didn't make it, it was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't great. Pitch up for bogey was should be the play.
Right.
But I don't think I don't think the island shot made it a fair play.
I've heard people say that the play, if you felt like you couldn't make the island a play, and it goes back to Simon Lozot's big brain play. If you're gonna just miss long.
Yeah, miss
long. Then you automatically go to the drop zone, right?
Yeah.
Rather than re-teeing or re-teeing. So we'll come back to those other comments in a second. So yeah, Chantel tied for 15th. Sophia's next, they're both tied for 15th. Sophia's next scheduled event is Champions Cup, May 1st. Also, head to Disc Golf Scene to sign up for her event with Thomas Gilbert, Chanstad, and Nate Sexton at Smith Lakes Farms, which you mentioned about. Rebecca Don, her tournament started out so well.
Oh my God!
What a player!
Was she on Chase, or she was with some big names?
She was on Chase Carter.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, she shot a +5 round 1, +2 round 2, which had her tied for 5th.
That is so cool.
I think in round 2 she was playing with Kristen Lett.
Yeah. Is she 17, Rebecca Daunt?
17 or 18, yeah.
We've
interviewed her. I think when we first interviewed her, she was 17.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it was really cool listening to all the FPOs around her talk about how she was kind of like someone they want to watch.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that round 3 got her onto chase card with Kristen Latt, Henna Blumross, and Raven Klein.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a card to be on, hey?
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And from her point of view, I know looking at her on her Instagram, she had said that maybe she didn't play as good as she wanted to play on that round.
Right. Yes.
But can you imagine what she soaked in?
Yeah. Oh,
all that experience around her, and
absolutely.
Like it couldn't have been no negative to being on that card.
The first of many cards like that she'll be on.
Yeah, absolutely. So she put it. Round 3 was a +9. She still made it to final round. She shot a +1 and ended up 22nd for her first Pro Tour event. I think it was.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just incredible.
All 3 Canadians made it to the finals. Always a good day. And I think somebody put it in the chat. They were all within. Brendan again. Finishing 31st. Oh no, that's a different question. He had it there somewhere.
It was. Oh, there it is. There it is.
2 Canadians finishing within 2 strokes of a top 10 finish.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, with Rebecca coming on the stage, Sophia and Chantel, like, I wonder if we'll ever see 3 Canadians on a card.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
That would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah. Okay. I got something for you. You got some time?
I've got a little time.
Okay, we got a little time.
All right.
I got something sent to me, and I gotta find it now. We'd mentioned it on the podcast.
Yes.
And I think Brock had taken it to he put it in our chat for some stats.
Yes.
To do with Rundle and courses in Edmonton.
Right.
So Stephen Jennings.
Yeah.
He went away, looked at all the UDIS stats, and put some stats together for 2024.
I love it.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Gonna take my glasses off.
I used to have a lot of access to the UDIS stats, and now I have 0 access. So now I'm thirsty for them.
How many in 2024? And have you looked at stats in previous years?
Yeah.
So you've got a clue. You got a ballpark.
I used to.
Okay. How many rounds do you think were tracked at Rundle Park?
9.
And I'll put this in the chat as well. If I think Brendan's the only one in the chat now, but have a rough guess. How many rounds do you think were tracked? And I'll give you within. I would say I'll give you within 500, but I'll give you within 1,000.
16,000.
Okay, that's different than the first answer you were going to say.
I know. I thought about it more.
Okay. Okay. Do we have an answer? Probably not.
I don't know. My memory's not as good as it once was. I'm old now.
Okay.
That's my guess.
13,685.
Okay, I was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13,000 track rounds at Rundle Park. That's awesome.
What's key, and we talk about this a lot with Edga, and I talk a lot about this with Kristen, is those are just tracked rounds.
Exactly.
In UDisc. The amount of people that play rounds that aren't using the UDisc.
Yeah.
I mean, probably
double, triple that.
I think way more.
Really?
I think way more. I think UDisc probably accounts for 25 or less % of plays. That's my guess.
Right. Yeah. How many unique? I'm not going to go through every stat, but how many unique players do you think there were?
800.
Well, Brendan said 12,000 for the guess. The chat's a little bit behind. 1,841.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot.
A lot of unique players, right?
A lot of unique players.
Okay, popularity. How popular do you think? And we've got 2 categories.
Yeah.
In according to UDisc, Rundle Park, how popular across Canada?
Popular by score or by plays?
He doesn't clarify. Just says popularity. It's the X most played course in Canada.
3rd.
It's the 5th most played in Canada.
It used to be 2nd behind Baker.
Really?
Until we built Hermitage.
Right. And that took the load off.
And that took the load off Rundle. That's why I went with 3rd.
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
He said it's the 5th, but that was in was in Canada.
I believe it.
What do you think it is in Alberta?
It's gotta be 2nd. It has to be Baker than Rundle.
He says it's 3rd.
So I don't know. Stealing plays.
Yeah. I don't know.
Something stealing plays that I'm out. See, look, I've been gone for.
Yeah. Well, could you think of another course that might be? There's got to be another one in Calgary, maybe.
Or unless it's just like Gavin Beamish out at in Spruce Grove, and he's just like ripping it up.
There you go. just a little bit local here. Who do you think the most active with the most rounds, shooting 142 rounds?
Got to be Briggsy.
No.
At Rundle.
At Rundle.
Terry Hong.
No. I'm not sure. I think I know this person. It's obviously it's their Udix username.
I'll probably know it.
Yeah. It's I think it's Keenan Menendez.
Oh yeah, I played with Keenan Menendez.
Yeah.
I've played with him a
So
couple of times.
that was 142 rounds. Somebody had 141.
It's probably me.
Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve. Okay, he plays a lot too.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm getting all of these wrong, but I mean,
you're getting close though.
Yeah, that's right.
How many people played for the first time? So, disc golf.
Yeah.
Post COVID.
Yeah.
It's on the up.
Yeah.
Now people are saying we've plateaued. Maybe there's a bit of a decline. I'm not. Where do you sit on that? So how many first time players
in the year?
Yeah.
1,200.
Oh, okay. 930.
Okay, that's not a bad guess. Then.
Yeah,
I
was quite surprised that there was 930 new people playing. According to
it's funny. The last stats I saw is that the growth is more or less continuing at the same rate as before COVID. So not that it's
right.
It's still growing,
but it's gone to pre-COVID
growth.
Yeah,
it's still growth.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
These are great. This is really fueling me right now. By the way,
good.
Even though I'm failing miserably, this is fueling me.
I won't ask you to name them, but players from 7 different countries visited the course. We had Canada, US, Czechia, Germany, Finland, Norway, and Puerto Rico. Amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And how many aces were there?
Well, I had 5.
Yeah.
Or 4.
I had 2.
So 7 right there. Probably like 250.
Okay. I think maybe you need to start dialing these back a bit because you always seem to be going over. 123.
So half of what I said. Well, yeah. I'm an optimist.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's
I'm an optimist.
I like it.
All right.
Okay, let's quickly head over to Rundle. Hermitage.
Yeah.
How many tracked rounds over there? So if we go back to Rundle, there was 13,600.
So I'm going to say there was 11,500.
8,500.
Okay. I'm an optimist. So that's pretty good. Is that on both layouts, the blue and the red?
It doesn't say.
Stefan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unique players.
Yep. There was 1,800 at Rundle.
Yeah. You got good memory.
Let's say 1,300.
Oh, bang on. 1,306.
Love it.
Love it. Now you're dialed in.
Yeah.
Okay. In all of Canada, where does Hermitage sit?
7th.
No, 15th.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised at that one.
Yeah, I'm surprised with that too because like the play count, it is less than Rundle, but I guess there's 14 more busier courses.
Yeah.
All right.
In Alberta.
Yeah.
So Rundle was 3rd.
Yeah, Rundle was 3rd. So I'll go back to 7.
See, this is weird. It's 4th.
What? Okay, so there's some courses out east that are
it must be
filling up that or BC, like maybe Raptors and Knoll.
Right.
Nipika.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Most rounds? 91 rounds.
Most rounds. That's got to be Uncle Steve.
Nope.
91 rounds. Briggsy.
No. It's Keenan again.
Oh.
So what did he have? 147 plus 91?
Yeah.
So 230 odd rounds recorded.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Usually I hover around the 200 round mark. But
second was 73 rounds. Piano Jan?
Jana Olsen.
Oh, that's Jana? Oh, of course it is.
Piano Jan.
Yeah, Piano Jan,
yeah. And I had a wonderful conversation about music with Jana at Putting League last week, and Jana is just one of my favorite people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
She's on YouTube. If you search, there's a
I haven't, but I will. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that.
A couple of interviews.
Thank
you. 130 players played their first time at Hermitage.
Okay. That's surprising. I find that surprising because I find that the reds at Hermitage are easier than either blue Hermitage or Rundle layouts. And I actually think the navigation is slightly better at Hermitage with the reds. So, but I do see a lot of what I would perceive to be newer players playing the blues at Hermitage.
Yes, because they see this T sign
right.
and they think that's where you're supposed to tee off.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but
That's interesting.
I'm fairly certain there'll be some signage happening at Hermitage at some point.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yep.
It's a shorter course.
Yep.
123 aces at Rundle.
Yeah.
How many aces at Hermitage?
It is a shorter course. The Reds, there was a lot less plays. Let's say 95.
No, 134.
Oh my God, there's more aces?
More aces. I said it's a shorter course. Maybe some of the holes are, but I mean, you still got, what is it?
Wow.
5 and 14.
Yeah, 5.
That are
yeah,
like
yeah,
almost
they're
gimme aces. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, I hit that 14th day. Don't call it a gimme.
I've never done it, so yeah.
You hit 5. 5 was your first one, right?
5, yeah.
I remember it was league night. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Glowbird. How many, and this surprised me, how many aces on hole 1 at Hermitage? I didn't think hole 1 was an aceable hole.
I bet you if there were 130 aces, 130 odd aces at Hermitage, I bet you there was like 11 on hole 1.
Bang on. 11 aces.
Yeah. I almost hit it the other day.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously it's aceable because I can't reach it. There are definitely people that can, throw it in there.
Yeah.
I was surprised. It's almost kind of blind off the tee.
Almost like
if you step out a little bit, you can see the basket. If the
think
trees lean out a little bit, it's a little bit blocked. But
I think where it's advantageous is that to get around that corner, you need good height. Then it fades back, right? So
yeah. Okay, just quickly, 2 other courses that he did.
Yep.
Nor'Wester. Most rounds played.
Oh, it's probably someone I'm not aware of, or I don't know. Give me the UDIS name.
Beardo Ninja.
Don't know.
Yeah, 56 rounds. Uncle Steve.
Of course.
In there at 49.
Yeah, of course.
June 29th, the busiest day with 49 rounds played.
June 29th.
At Nor'Wester. Why would that stand out?
River City Cup?
Doesn't say, but
River City Cup was that weekend, was it not? So maybe because the course was busy, like Rundle was busy. And yeah, I would imagine so, because Rundle and Hermitage would have been effectively closed for the tournament.
Yeah.
So people would have went to Nor'Wester.
Yeah,
that's what happened. Figured it out.
24 aces at Nor'Wester. How many on hole 1?
You can get hole 1. 20. How much, sir? 20.
24 in total. How many of them were on hole 1?
6.
11 again.
11 again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a gettable one. That 1, 2, and 3 are kind of gettable.
Niska Pasquale.
Yes. Oh,
it's a members of.
Love Niska.
Great course. Member bonus.
Yep.
How many rounds were played out there?
It's probably not much. It's probably like 2,300.
Yeah, just under 2,000.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
35 rounds recorded by the most active person. Who do you reckon? I mean, you may or may not know them.
I want to say maybe Shane Bundus or Ali Bundus, because they play that course a lot.
Okay. No, I don't think so. Their user name is Nyman. N-I-G-H.
Oh, Paul. That's Paul.
Oh.
Paul Nyman.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure, Paul. Good dude. Play with him in Wakaskoon.
I mean, this is good because it's a member-only course, or Edmonton Disc Golf member-only course.
Yeah.
How many people played it for the first time in 2024?
In 24? Maybe like 210.
Bang on again, 204.
Nice.
Very close. Yeah.
I'm getting this. I'm getting the hang of this.
You're getting the hang of it when we just finished.
I'm
not going to give you a few more. I can give you like kilometers walked and things like that.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
But you know what? I loved pulling UDisc data for all of our courses around Edmonton. Like, it was actually a treat. I definitely have some spreadsheets still on my personal computer that just show the growth. And it was really cool when we put Hermitage in, specifically the tee pads. You could see that Rundle maintained or dipped a hair, and then the plays at Hermitage went through the roof.
Right.
And it was just like, wow, okay. We thought that the plays would drop off dramatically at Rundle, but they didn't. They just held.
Right.
And we're adding all these other plays. Like, it really helped our cause with the city to be like, this is an important sport in our city.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
You got some chats to attend to.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were guessing some of the answers they were trying to get in there, but we had a little bit of delay. So, and you were quick to answer, so we didn't get to any of those.
I like to give a quick,
answer.
Well, I like getting things right, so when I get it wrong, I'm devastated.
Well, Tim.
Yep.
that was your first full double episode
Yeah,
co-host. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. It was so fun. Not that I was nervous because I mean, you know me, I can talk for days about things, and I feel like conversation is a strength of mine.
Yeah.
I like to speak, but being on this side of the mic, um, it's definitely a different feel. Like when you have a guest and you want to make sure you're not just talking about yourself. You want to be asking questions. You want to be engaging. You got to look in the camera. I had a blast. It was two fantastic guests. I mean, to talk to Chantel is amazing, but to talk to Chris as well and get his perspective was just awesome.
Yeah.
Way to line it up for me. Jeremy should go on vacation more.
There you go, right? 71 episodes. I've never been on it. I've never missed an episode yet. So.
And you've been like sick and like, geez, you're a trooper.
I'm either a trooper or I've just got no life.
Trooper.
There you go.
Trooper.
Before we do check out, we should just give Edgar a shout out or just touch on the leagues that are happening because they're happening next month.
I'm signed up for two. I'm signed up for two already. I'm back with my buddy Jason for doubles league, which mostly is just us just eviscerating each other verbally. Like it's usually just us making fun of each other, which is so fun. That league is so fun. The doubles league, I can't speak enough about it. And then of course Thursday Rundle.
How different is that going to be? You're going to be able to get out at a good time.
Yeah.
You don't have to, it's not going to be dark almost at the end of the year when you're.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how it's going to be yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
I haven't signed up for any league yet, but I'm leaning towards Thursday Rundle.
Yeah,
just because I did it last year, it was a good time. Jeremy's not doing Rundle League. He's decided that he's going to be doing the Rec League that they're calling it now, the old Northwester League.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, it was supposed to be like a Northwest League, but then they took liberties with the Northwest part of that last year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I hear they're going out to some dog rump this year as well.
Oh, that's so sick. Yeah.
That's a great course.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, Edgar has a number of leagues. Monday Doubles League, which you're going to do. Hermitage and Niska.
Yeah.
Rolling Start, Best Shot Doubles. I've never played doubles. I've even said to Jeremy, I'm like, I've never played doubles, like practice, an event, or anything. I want to get him to sign up for the Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
Undecided at the moment.
It's so fun. But, I mean, as long as you have a partner who you can spar with, then you're having a good time.
I spoke to Mark Thompson. He's going up with Tyler Edwards, who's a predominantly forehand player. Yeah. Mark doesn't have a forehand, so they complement each other well.
Well, that's what you'd think. My buddy Jason, great putter, and I'm the driver. Doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, if you could just throw it in all the time.
Throw it in.
You don't need a putt.
Tuesday, Roaming Rec League.
Yeah.
Started out as the Northwester League, has evolved 2 weeks at a course, then playing everywhere. And I really like that it was a draw-based league, and that'll return this year, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why Jeremy wants to go play it. It's like I could compete all year at the Thursday Rundle League for a chance to maybe make cash at the end of it. Yeah. If I go and play the Roaming League, I'm entered into a draw every week.
Totally.
Even if I play badly.
Also, Dylan says doubles is so fun, and we've played with Dylan a few times. Everyone you play with at doubles league is so fun, so it's a good time.
Yeah.
I gotta say that Roaming Rec League, that's a great idea to have it roaming. But that Rec League, they seem to have the most fun out of any league. Like just like all the social of them, just like getting along, trying different things. They do a wonderful job making it a very welcoming experience.
Yeah. Wednesday Women's League.
Yes.
Langholm, Rundle, and other courses to be rotating as well. And they also do some draw prizes as well.
Yeah, and it was we split it up into a competitive and rec before, and last year we brought it back into one league, and I think that was really successful. So I'm happy to see that returning. That Women's League, it does really, really well. The sense of community those women feel is just amazing.
Yeah. And if you are a lady who wants to join, but you're maybe a little bit unsure, Edgar's putting on a free women's event.
Yes, tomorrow.
Yeah. No, Saturday.
Today's Wednesday. What day is it today?
Today's Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the
Saturday the 29th.
Yes.
Free women's clinic.
Yes.
Some amazing coaches. Carrie Hong,
Carrie, Kristen, and
Lindsay and Zoe.
Lindsay and
four of them.
That's right.
They're all signed up for that.
And that's also a good lead in to She's Up First, which is happening in May. Women's only tournament. We have 46 registrants already. The record for that tournament is 50. It's also if we get somewhere over the 60 registrants, it'll be one of the biggest women's tournaments in Canadian history.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. And that free clinic that's happening on the 29th with those 4 amazing coaches, that's a great entry into whether it's competitive play or rec league play, whatever play. Definitely, if you're thinking about it, just do it.
Yeah.
For the cost of free.
Exactly. Edgar paired up with PDJ Canada to be able to make that possible.
Yeah. I was. Brock and I were at Canadian Nationals, and we kind of cornered Brian. He was super nice.
Right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Also on Wednesday, a new thing this year, an actual sanctioned PDGA league. Yeah. Josh Smith, I believe, is running that one.
Oh, Josh Smith.
Yeah.
Of course he would.
It's going to be a drop-in event. Show up when you want, earn a rating for each round, shotgun start, 9 weeks long. So not a long league.
Yeah, I think that's mandated by the PDGA that it can only be a certain amount of weeks.
Okay.
I don't think it can be. I think that's why it's like that. And when I was president, we definitely got requests to do a PDGA sanctioned league. So I'm really happy to see Josh take this one on.
Yeah.
He'll do a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. He ran the Go-To Symphony last year that I signed up for.
Yeah.
Speaking of league events that are coming up in the same vein as the 3-disc event, I'm TDing my first event.
Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Don't be. Well, be a little bit, actually.
I mean, maybe it's good to have a little bit of nerves, right?
Yeah, it's not the worst thing to have some nerves. But you know what? Once you've gone through an event or two,
yeah,
it's just clockwork.
It's an unsanctioned event.
Yep.
It's a 3-disc challenge.
Yep.
Like we spoke to Casey a couple of weeks ago talking about TDing his event. I said, "What tips can you give me?" He said, "All you really got to worry about if people sign up, you give them the discs.
Yes.
As long as they get their discs, you fulfilled their event."
Honestly, and I mean, there's I would say the one piece of advice I would give is just like communicate well. If you communicate well, you can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Whether it's what lunch is, where bathrooms are, what heavy, doesn't matter. There's a lot of things you can. There's so many little parts of it. Give people their disc, communicate well, and I guarantee you people will have a good time and appreciate the job you did.
Thank you. Yeah. That'll be the weekend after she's up first.
Right.
May 10th, I believe it is.
Yes.
2 rounds at Rundle, $40, get you 3 discs from a Canadian manufacturer.
Good deal.
Thursday, we talked about it, the Rundle, the OG, the biggest league, rolling start, different pins.
Yep.
I'm excited or maybe intrigued to see what Brock does with Mandos.
Yes.
So I hear that he's a bit of a fan of Mandos.
Brock is I have choice words for him.
Okay.
When he
This is a kid-friendly podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say I won't say the words, but he is diabolical.
Right.
He has done some things with the doubles league where he made Mandos like this.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So Brock is diabolical.
So
I would just say don't trust whatever was in his head.
Right.
Like,
I take back all the alternative tee pads that you put in last year then? Like, they weren't as bad as what we can expect?
Listen, part of the fun of running that Thursday Rundle League was watching people have to throw the ridiculous tee pads that I put and laughing hysterically.
Right.
Listen, if I'm going to sit out there for 3.5 hours and watch people throw discs, it's going to be at my pleasure. Yeah, for sure. So I did enjoy it. And then I'd get to the tee and it'd be like, well, whatever.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you like about leagues?
Oh man. I'm a competitive person.
Right.
I love competition. Whether it's me versus the game or me versus my car mates or me on the scoreboard. So for me, I do like the competitiveness. I find with the Thursday Rundle League, there's the right amount of competitiveness to community in that it kind of fluctuates throughout the year. Sometimes it is very competitive and other times it's more community driven. So I like that. I like consistency. I like being able to know that my Thursday Rundle League will be Thursday every week, and then I'll see all my disc golf buddies there. And I mean, I've been playing Thursday Rundle League since 2017, and every single year during the last round, I just feel like sad. I finish my round, I'm just like, oh man, like.
You're gonna have this empty hole
Thursday nights until April.
Yeah.
And I grieve a little bit about it. I know it sounds a little silly, but I genuinely feel sad because I just love seeing all the faces, talking to the people, throwing the shots, playing the course, being competitive. So that's like. And then you hit an ace, get some money.
There you go.
Right.
That's the only way I got money last year.
Yeah. Hey, that was it counted.
I got the first one.
That's right. You did.
I did.
Was that on opening night?
I think it was like second or third.
Right, it was pretty early.
It was very early.
It was very early in the year.
Yeah. Just jumping back into the chat here. Brendan said 46.
I think that's in regards to she's up first.
Oh, is that what we're at right now? 46?
That's what we're at for registrants. Volunteers may get pizza.
That's a may. We're not going to say that. Are we saying it?
He's hand making the pizza himself.
That's so kind of you, Brendan.
Yeah.
He's
spending the whole day in the kitchen and then dropping them off.
Just going back to doubles, Dina had a comment here. Have you tried modified best shot?
I've not.
Modified best shot. What makes it modified?
Do you have to play it like it's okay, we have to do forehands? I don't know what the modification would be.
Yeah. When I first originally seen it, I thought she said alt shot. But then I reread it as modified best shot. Yeah. Be sure
okay. Yeah. Maybe see if you're still in the chat, clarify that.
Yeah. Dylan backing you up. Double, so much fun. No, it's not the Northwest League anymore, Brendan. It's the Roaming Rec League, but they get some pretty good pricing there as well.
Yeah. $1 Roaming Rec.
And apparently Brock is a Mando man.
He is a Mando man. He's more diabolical than I am, and I consider myself fairly diabolical when it comes to events and like setting up things.
I'm surprised he didn't put the Mando back in on 3.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Yeah, that was a tricky one.
The netting is all down.
I'm in conversations with someone in the disc golf community, some brothers,
okay,
in the disc golf community, to potentially run an event at Rundle this fall.
Okay,
I don't know if it'd be sanctioned or not.
Right.
But I've been brainstorming this for a couple of years, and I'd like to get it done. It's called Rundle's Revenge.
Okay.
And I would like to set up Rundle in the most impossible, like just the pins all on hard.
Right.
Make islands, OBs, out of bounds. Like make it impossible?
Are we talking different tee pads to different baskets?
No, no.
Okay.
Regular holes.
Regular holes.
But let's say hole 1 is an island. Yeah. Rundle is going to get its revenge because we've been birdieing it too easy, too much.
I like it.
So that's
I'm up for a challenge.
It won't be fun. It's not going to be fun.
There'll be some high numbers.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see if that pans out. I hope so, but we'll see.
Yeah. There you go. I don't think there's much more else to say about leagues.
No, I mean, I'll ask you while I have you. Like, how's everything going with the Edgas? Like, are you feeling pretty good about it? Feeling like good direction? Feeling like you're finding your place, kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's one thing it's a little bit hard for me to manage, and I'm getting the hang of it now. Is the fact that I have on my Instagram, I have my personal, my home,
your personal. You got the chain out.
I have chain out. I have my DJ disc golf.
Yes,
I kind of did for a little while.
Yeah.
Now I've got Edgar as well.
Yeah.
It's so hard to remember, not only to remember which account you're on, because you don't want to post something from the wrong account,
right.
But also you go in as chain out, you see, you ace, so I'll like the post and I'll comment.
Then you got to switch over to the other. Yeah.
And I'll switch back to another one. Didn't I just like this? And maybe you don't see it right away. You see it a day later or whatever.
Yeah.
So keeping track of all the accounts. I'm not a Facebook guy really, but I'm trying to learn that. So taking on part of that as well.
It takes a lot of capacity. It takes up a lot of brain space to be thinking about all those things. It's not easy, especially when you do have multiple accounts. And if someone in the community does something cool, you want to get it out there on both of your platforms. Yeah. And now you're like, oh crap! I think I gotta,
Yeah, that's what I'm getting used to now. It took me a while in the beginning, and because I know when me and Jeremy have said the same thing, is that we're so appreciative of when you were running the social media. Yeah. That anytime we put out a post as chain out, it was like reposted 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
Like
that's
so
more just my insomnia. Wake up and
we did hear that. Yeah. But from my point of view, I'm always like kind of second guessing myself a little bit.
Right.
Did I repost that? Is that something that is under?
Can I give you my 2 cents? Not that I have any sort of Brock. Full respect to what he's doing. I have a theory on when it comes to Edga / the social media thought process. And again, this is me as a civilian, not as a president. Okay?
Just a member now.
I'm just a member. The club's mentality should be to boost and bolster all disc golf happenings locally.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's a brand, a player, a podcast, anything.
Right.
Like we should be we should be the center for all of that.
Right.
No matter what it is. If someone tags us, if someone's going to take the time to tag us, it goes up.
Right.
If someone's going to be in our community promoting our sport and growing our sport, it gets boosted, and it doesn't go any deeper than that.
Right.
That's always been my mentality. It's just like, if someone's taking their time to engage in our sport, it's I want to be in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I thought.
It's a fine plan. I think it's a plan that I'll stick to.
Yeah.
It works for me. I totally get where you're coming from. That was, with Edgar being so branded on Innova.
Yes. Yeah.
There was that borderline between, is this contravening any
Sure,
boundaries,
yeah.
when you get into that, like you say, the products and brands and things like
Yes,
that.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's what we're all about, right? Growing the sport, promoting the sport locally.
And I mean, aside from maybe a couple friction points, generally everyone understands that we're not we're not in competition with anyone.
Right.
And that's the key. That's why I tried to tell people a lot of times. It's like, well, how can you boost them when you're with them? And it's like, we're not in competition. We're not selling you anything.
Right.
Maybe a league, but we're not. We're just a community.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
No, I totally agree. But yeah, it's been fine. I'm enjoying it.
Great. I love that. I love it. And just like so much appreciation for yourself and for those who have stepped up to take on roles within the club, because those roles, the club is still growing. There's still so much of this sport. There's so much runway with this sport in our city. And just people need to be there and people need to step up, and people did. So it's tremendous.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Looks like we got a answer on our modified best shot.
So mod best shot, player A cannot drive 3 in a row. Ooh. So if you take their drive twice in a row, player B must make the throw on the next tee.
Okay, so it just forces the varied shot.
Yeah, and
you can't solely rely on one person to do all the one things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dina followed it up there, a bit more strategy involved.
Yeah. See, that wouldn't work with my buddy Jason and I, because he is terrible. Because he's just bad.
He's good at putting.
Well, I'll tell you this. Jason and because I chirped him relentlessly throughout the last 2 seasons, as you would.
Yeah.
As any good friend would.
Absolutely.
I told him I carried the team in 2023. I told him, this wasn't even close. I carried the team. You were terrible.
Right.
Why did you show up? I could just do this by myself.
Yeah.
So in 2024, we tracked every shot, whose shot we took. Yeah, and there's some rules around it. If it was a 60-foot layup, we're not tracking that shot because we're both making. But if it was a drive or a putt, or there's some rules around it.
Yeah.
Anyway, suffice to say, I absolutely wiped the floor with him, and we used more of my shots.
Right.
So when I say things like Jason's terrible, I statistically can back that.
You have some backing it. Yeah.
Yes.
There is some truth to it. You're not. Yeah, that's fair. But would he be the first to agree?
No. He would fight that tooth and nail. He would say, well, I know what the stats say, but that's because I give you the comfort of making those shots because of
There's always the caveat.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. The strategy of the modified best shot, very good. Very good.
I don't know if we'll see it. What is the tag team? That's just best shot doubles?
Yeah, it's just best shot doubles. I don't think there's any. I don't remember last year. Travis and I played that, and we didn't play very well. We were both just kind of didn't have our best day, but I don't recall. I don't think there was any sort of ruling. I think it was just genuine best shot doubles.
Is it 1 round or 2 rounds?
2.
It's 2 rounds.
Yeah. We were like, let's get fired up for the second round.
And it's all long pins as well.
Yeah. We were fired up for the second round, and then just.
So would you have gone if you won?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I want to play again this year. I really want to go if we win, hypothetically.
Right.
Without getting into too much, I really want to play that course.
Right.
I'll leave it at that.
That's fine.
Yep.
Is Travis your partner that may or may not be there?
Yeah, Travis is my partner again this year.
Yeah.
He's got something that might come up, might not. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It's a fun day. It's really fun. Doubles is always a good time no matter what. So it's fun.
Come on, Jeremy.
Do it.
Get on it. I know you have to work things out, but
you can do it. You can dream it.
That is one of the things with me being on the board. I kind of ruled out Tundra Toss, River City.
Right. Yeah.
Because I gave those up as volunteer events that I'm just going to work at, right? So it's not. I know I think Brock and Matt are running that event.
Yeah.
So that's an event that I think
it might be up with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like it's a 2-year commitment for the board at the very least. Unless you step back. But in your first year, it's probably a fair thing to do to step back from those events. But maybe in year 2 you could take on 1 or 2 depending on how you slip, like how kind of the year goes. Right, you might be able to pick up.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you real quickly.
Sure.
In a tag team championship world where you are paired with Jeremy, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, that's interesting because I think if I think about it, Jeremy, I think we both have our good days and bad days, and I know that seems like a fence-sitting answer, but some days Jeremy, I feel like his putting is on point.
Yeah.
He can make putts from his straddle putts. He can make them from behind trees.
Yeah.
He can be on game.
Right.
Recently, though, he has been loving his mantra.
Oh, okay.
And he can bomb that thing.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Like for our arm power at hole 4 at Hermitage.
Yep.
He's throwing that thing down the fairway and it gets around the tree, landing down the hill towards the basket.
That's a great place to be.
Yeah.
I was there like yesterday, and that's a big shot.
Right.
Good for him.
Yeah. Our normal type of shot is either hyzering a little bit early in the trees, or maybe you make fairway, maybe you make the
right
artificial OB, in the winter league it doesn't apply.
Right.
But yeah, for him to make it all the way to the end of the fairway, his drives are getting better.
Good. Great to hear. That's always a good part. Do you think you would have that Chris Chantel chemistry of it's a team?
Honestly, I think if I was to go to Jeremy and say, okay, you know what I think you should throw here? I think you should throw this shot. I think he's nice enough. He would say, all right, I think you're right.
Yeah.
If it's flipped, I think if Jeremy comes up to me,
not a chance.
I think I'm saying, no, Jeremy, I know which shot I can throw.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, good. Well, you know what?
But we'll see.
In a doubles partner, all you need is someone that can pick you up at the right times, and vice versa.
Do you do that in doubles? Are you like if somebody drives, and then you've got the upshot? Are you conferring about the shot?
Yeah.
Or is it?
I think strategically,
it's my shot, so I'm throwing it.
No, I with Jason, one thing we do really well is, like, aside from chirp each other, which we do extraordinarily well.
Right.
I think we strategize really nicely very quickly.
Right.
Because, like, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm not really feeling this. I'll lay it up, you run it.
That's what that was my mistake, because I was thinking it was alt shot.
No.
But if it's best shot, you're both taking the shot anyway.
You're both taking it, but you can still be strategic about it. Like, there's some instances where I know he's a better thrower at one thing or two or whatever. Right. So you can play to each other's strengths. Right. Or, if he makes a bad shot, you can be like, I have to perform now. Like, I have to pick him up.
Right. So I always just thought it was player A runs it. Player B. No.
I very often will offer him the putt.
Right.
I'll be like, you know what? I'm just gonna put us in the safe spot. Work your magic.
Yeah.
And then he misses, and I yell at him. It's tried and true.
There you go. All right. Well, there you go, Tim. I had fun.
I had a blast.
You're a very worthy stand-in. I appreciate you taking the time to come down here, and it worked out perfectly that we could be in the studio together at the same time.
Yes.
It eliminates all that delay.
Yes. I mean, thank you for having me. Anytime you need a stand-in, I'm happy to fill the shoes.
Yeah.
It's not easy playing the part of Jeremy, because that is a special person. That is a unique guy.
You know what I have to put up with every week.
Every week.
Exactly.
Yes. But I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for letting me rant on about things. Thank you to Chris and Chantel for Chain Out and for Around the Basket. Like, just it's always a pleasure to talk about disc golf. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I have nothing but gratitude. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Not saying that any of our other guests are anything less than great, but you did kind of luck out. You had a good week.
Well, I had a pretty good. That was a pretty.
I know Jeremy's a little bit jealous that you didn't get a chance to speak to Chantel again, and Chris, great guy.
Yeah.
All right. So on this episode, on the Around the Basket,
yes,
we don't kind of do. This is one part of the podcast that we haven't figured out.
Right.
We don't really know how to end the Around the Basket.
Like how to get out of it.
We know how we get out of the chain out.
Sure. Yeah.
One area that we've kind of one alley that we've gone down, and we don't know if it's a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
We don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
Is we kind of talk about the listeners. We thank them for being part of the podcast. some of the local people, we might get a chance to see them.
Yes.
And if we do,
yes,
then we can always have a great conversation.
That's right.
Around the basket. Thanks, everybody.